Easter happened, right?
It did.
And I was working that day because it's a restaurant. We're all working on holidays. And it was dead inside, so me and one of the other managers decided to have an Easter egg hunt. And like we would have, little candies. It might be $1. I think one of the big prizes was like $15. Some of them were huge candy bars.
Nice.
But
are you talking about like just with your staff or like?
Yes.
Okay.
If we hid one and a little kid found it, we weren't taking the little kid's candy and being like, "That's not for you."
Sorry, this is just for us. And snap.
So the servers were having a good time. It was, we were all having fun with it except for one person, but that's beside the point.
Who had Easter eggs? Like you guys?
We got
just
some.
Okay, so you were prepared to do
yeah,
this. You said that like you nonchalantly just decided, oh, let's just do this. But you guys had Easter eggs prepared with large candy bars and $15 ready to go.
No.
Okay.
We had one of our employees, because we were dead, ran over to the dollar store and got just a giant sack of Easter eggs.
Okay, this makes more sense.
And like a big old bag of candy. But yeah.
Nice.
So the servers were having a good time, but the kitchen wasn't really getting any. So I decided, because one of the things we have to do is a line check. You just check the temps on everything in the kitchen, make sure all your equipment's still working, blah, blah, blah. So while I was doing that, I hid a couple eggs. And the fact that these guys did not, because there's like 5 guys in this kitchen, none of them saw me hide an egg. And I'm just sitting there like, I was directly in front of you with the egg in my hand as I hid it.
You just don't pay
attention. And you didn't notice. Apparently not. But it was so funny when I told the kitchen that there were eggs back there. These like 5 grown-ass men scattered, tearing this kitchen apart, trying to find an Easter egg, which might have a piece of candy in it.
Did they find them?
So one of them, there were a couple I hid in intentionally obvious spots because I wanted everyone to be involved and have a chance to find an egg.
Yeah.
Not super obvious, but enough that I'm like, okay, this is the person who's going to find this because this is their station. Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Are
the people at work the ones you
told
to
one
listen
of them,
to this?
Probably.
Are they gonna?
I know one of them who listens. She knows who she is. And she knows that she picked up the box the egg was in 3 times and didn't find it.
Oh,
and I laughed at her.
That's embarrassing.
I laughed long and hard.
That's really embarrassing. I would not come to work again.
It was amazing. Because there's like 2 boxes. One of them had like aluminum foil sheets, and one of them had like wax paper sheets that we use for various plating and to-goes and stuff. So I hid one in one of those boxes. And one of the guys comes up to where those boxes are and picks the wrong one up and like shakes it, like hard shakes it, sets it back down. It's like, there's nothing over here, leaves. She comes up, picks up the one that the egg is in, doesn't shake it, and then sets it back down.
What? She just thought that the box was sitting on top of the egg or something?
Apparently.
All right.
Hello, and welcome to Die on Any Hill, a podcast where me and my co-host here each bring a hot take or an opinion that somebody feels strongly about for some reason, and we don't know why. I had a better intro in my head last night, and then I went to bed.
Oh, you should have pre-recorded it, so you could just dropped it in there.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I think that we should just start pre-recording every aspect of this to ourselves, like when we're just walking and just have an idea, and then just cobble it together afterwards, and we don't even.
I think
and the other person listens to it. Like I talk for just ramble for 5 minutes, and then I send you the recording, and then you listen to it, and then try to interject stuff as I'm talking.
I love this idea,
and then it sounds like I'm just trampling you over because I don't respond.
Or I have to like cut up your segment so there's pauses for me to talk.
Yeah, but it's neither of us are responding to each other. We're just shouting things.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, so it's a regular episode. But it would probably save us the meetup time. So.
And then we wouldn't have to actually talk to each other.
Yeah, that would be.
That's the thing I hate most about doing this is I have to talk to you.
It's my least favorite part of recording a podcast. Yeah, it's really the part where we have to talk.
Specifically to you, though.
If it was literally anyone else, that'd be fun. So.
Yeah. But we just kind of do this out of obligation at this point. Neither of us enjoy it.
Well, we have the Indian fan base, so.
Yeah, we have our one guy in India who listened to it, who downloaded it accidentally.
So now we kind of are like, okay, we got it. I guess we got to keep going for him.
Yep. Without you, this would have crumbled. Anyways, we should hop right into it.
Let's do it.
Do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first?
I want you to go first.
All right. So, I am not a sportsman. I don't do sports. I am bad at them. I don't watch sports. You know why? Because they're boring. Look at football. My hot take is football is boring, by the way. Look at football. Like, this is my 100% true opinion. I think football is one of the most boring sports to watch. I think...
In that case, we shouldn't look at football then, right?
Well, I mean, it's proving my point.
You're saying look at football, and then your point is not to look at football. So a bit of you're contradicting yourself there.
Metaphorically, look at football.
Okay.
But don't watch football, because you'll be bored out of your brain. Because all it is you watch a group of guys go from this end of the field to that end of the field. And then they get points, which are 7 for some reason, instead of like 1, which would make sense. And then...
Yeah, why is that?
Why is it 7 points?
Yeah, why is it 7 points?
Well, technically a touchdown is 6 points, and then a field goal is 1 point. And then I think they can also try to get it into the end zone again for 2 points instead of kicking a field goal. It's been a while since I've watched football. I stopped watching. Okay. They got hardcore with the penalties, so I stopped watching. I was going to stop watching anyways because I'm not a sports guy. But it's all you do is watch big dudes go from one side of the field to the other, and then they go from the other side of the field back. And it's just back and forth. And that's all it is. And some people will be like, oh, there's strategy. There's interesting stuff. And I'm like, no, there's not. Because here's another thing that annoys me about sports. The fact that sports punish creativity so much. They do not want you to be clever. They want you to win in exactly one way and only that way. If you have an idea that's interesting or might change things, no, that's bad and you're a cheater. That is...
So you're saying...
That is very repressed.
Yeah, so you're just saying breaking the rules is the clever thing.
No, it's not breaking the rules. It's finding a way to work within the rules and get an advantage over your opponent. Like, be clever, do things they didn't think of. And here's what I'm going to say. A lot of these feelings come from when we were in school together, and I would repeatedly get punished by our coach because I would do things that he didn't like.
Yikes.
I do remember... So we went to a very small Christian high school together. I was there for 1 semester. And the coach was also the pastor. I do not like this man. I think he's a bad person. I do. I'm going to be honest. But I remember so I got in trouble one week and I got kicked out of gym class. Bummered. Like, darn. Because I called him out, because I'm sure you remember this, McKay. You may not, but
I don't. Not the specific time, or maybe I do. I remember a lot of times you got kicked out. So
that's fair. Yeah, his punishment was to kick me out of gym class where I didn't want to be in the first place. So I would go inside and read a book, and it's like, how is this punishing me? I'm getting rewarded. But he would repeatedly put all of his kids who were very athletic on one team and everybody else who wasn't on another team, so his kids would win.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. Like, I feel like if I was in his position, I would have done the exact same thing.
No! It's not fair. Teach your kids how to lose gracefully.
The thing is, I don't feel like he was ever serious. Like, he didn't care the whole time. Like, it wasn't like he was like a super like rigid, like competitive guy who thought that this was the best way to do it. He was just making up rules. He was just having a good time.
But okay, that's
like,
another thing.
It'll be funny to see everyone scream
the rules
if I put
too.
all my kids.
He would just change the rules so his kids would win.
That's what was funny about it. It was like just it was I won't say his name, but it was just him being like, okay, I'll just do this, I'll do that, who cares? And then everyone would get mad, and he was just trolling us the whole time.
No, he's an ass.
I don't know. If I was put in his, because I don't even know, did he want to be the gym teacher, or was he just kind of, he wanted to?
He wanted to be in charge of that school.
I did, yeah, okay. But like, gym teacher was his chosen route.
Yeah, because do you not remember in every single one of his sermons, and that's not an exaggeration, it was, okay, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, it was almost every single sermon, he would mention how he was this amazing soccer star in high school, and he could have gone pro and gone amazing, but no, he chose to be a pastor instead.
I do remember that.
And it was just like, dude, no one cares. No one in this building cares.
It's funny, yeah. I just think he was a funny guy altogether. I don't know. I feel like you probably have more stories about him because you stayed behind like after I left, so I feel like you have a lot more. Or not stayed behind.
No, I think didn't we leave the church before you guys moved?
Well, yeah, you guys left, but like you still had like connections to it. Like I feel like we don't. I feel like a lot of stuff happened the year after I left, and then people have opinions on other people now that weren't there before, or I wasn't aware of them before.
I don't know. I was like 14. Like,
yeah.
Do I care that much? No, but these feelings are inside because cheating makes me angry. Obey, like, be within the rules, but be clever for sure.
Okay. So it does sound like what? Okay. This whole time I thought you were just talking about just straight up cheating.
No,
in football.
Absolutely not. Like, don't cheat. I also the rules just also annoy me because you should be able to launch. They should be able to chuck a dude, and they can't, and that's
people.
Dumb.
They should be able to chuck each other.
Yes. Like they should be able to get two guys like just to huck their running back over the defensive line.
Is that an actual like rule that they can't do that?
Yes.
Like it's written down. You can't.
Yeah, that is an actual rule. And that's my proposal to make football better. Bring launching back.
Was there like an actual like case that this happened and they were like, never again?
I'm sure at some point.
It does sound, I mean, football is a pretty dangerous game to begin with.
It is.
But that does sound extremely dangerous. Like you land, like someone, like you launch someone up, they're just going straight onto their head.
No, you gotta land.
They're not landing on their feet.
Yeah, they could.
I don't see physically how that's possible.
Okay, well, I mean, you put your feet you go over, and then your feet go on the ground.
There's just no way people have the strength to launch someone in the air high enough that they have the time to maneuver their feet around to underneath them.
Have you seen how big football players are?
I mean, they're big, but
they can launch.
that
So you
that
get
means they
two
have to
big
pick
guys.
up people that are also their size.
No,
It's
no,
not if it was someone my size
Yeah.
and being launched by football players, I probably could do it.
Yeah.
But I don't think they could launch a fellow football player.
No. You get
that high where it would.
You get two guys as a new position, and these are your launching backs.
All right.
And these are like your biggest, your burliest, toughest, and strongest dudes, right? And then
Okay.
you have one guy who's like really small, just a teeny tiny little guy, just a little guy. All right.
Okay.
Like,
it seems like this strategy. Already know where. Yeah, you're just saying that just keep him exclusively for launching over the entire opposing team. But people are after the very first game. People are going to know exactly what he's there for, and as soon as they see him come on the field, they're like, "Okay, go to the back, guys."
Well, no,
he's going to try to launch him.
He is also in the defensive line. Wait, no, offensive line. Hold on.
I don't know.
He is with the offensive team.
I don't watch football either, by the way.
Neither of us watch football.
Yeah, but we have a lot to say about it, apparently.
Yeah, because it's boring as hell. Because nothing. It's like basketball's the same way. They're so boring to watch, and I don't understand how people take so much time of their lives to just watch sports. And also, so the bar I work at, we always have sports on the TVs because that's what everyone likes to watch, which is fine. Mm-hmm. Like, enjoy what you enjoy. I don't actually. It doesn't bother me. I just think it's boring.
5 seconds before saying, "How do people dedicate their whole lives to this?" 5 seconds. Yeah, it's okay. Watch what you want to watch, I guess.
I am a very spirited man. Okay, I have very intense emotions at all times.
Just constant mood swings.
I don't understand the people who will sit and watch sports talk shows all day. Because. They also really annoy me. There's one specific guy, I can see his face and I don't remember his name, but he's on all the time. And all he does is just tell other people their opinions on sports are dumb and his are right. Which I understand with the spirit of the show why that's a bit hypocritical for me to say. But this is comedy though. This is a comedy podcast. Like, this is for goofs and gaffs. Takes.
He's doing his own die on any hill.
No,
sports edition.
He's just so arrogant and like obnoxious, and it's also like they'll be like they'll have it thrown up on the screen. It'll be like, who do you think has the highest potential for grabbing a ball this year? And it's like, who gives a shit? Like, why do people care? I don't understand.
It is funny seeing, like, sometimes they'll put up new records or something on the screen, and they're, like, so ultra-specific because that's the only thing that can, like, be set anymore after, like, 100 years of doing this. And it's, like, the second biggest guy to get 14 passes and only 3 throws. I don't know what sort of deal it would be. But it's funny. And it's so random. They're really pulling for straws.
They are. And people watch it, and people eat it up, and people talk about this, because people at the bar always want to talk to me about sports. And I would make shit up, because that's what you do as a bartender. Like, you talk to people about what they want to talk about, because they pay you better if you do.
True.
I did have one guy. There were a couple of regulars, and to this day I do this to him. They'll come in and they'll watch football and they'll have some beers and all that. And I intentionally root for whatever the team they're not rooting for.
Like, do you go like, when their team makes it and stuff? Nice.
Oh yeah, every time they come in, I'm just like, who are you rooting for?
I feel like that probably does.
I'm rooting for the Broncos. Tip. What's up with it? Why are you a Colts fan?
Does that help with your tip at all?
It does, actually.
That would... Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with it.
I guess they're getting some spirited debate out of it.
They know I don't watch sports. They know I do it to them, but it's fun.
Okay. Gotcha.
They're great people. There's a lot of our regulars who are really nice, and I really like them.
Did you watch the Big Bowl?
Absolutely not.
That just happened somewhat recently. Did we already talk about it? I feel like we probably talked about it when it happened, but
I don't think we did, to be honest.
All right. Well, I guess there's not that much more to say about it because it was a pretty uneventful bowl. But
I mean, yeah, and they're all the games are boring anymore because like I said, it's just watching people run from one side of the field to another and getting a point, and then watching people run from that side back to get a point. And
what sports is there any sport that you would watch? Like, could you rank the sports of boring to least boring?
I will watch sports if other people are watching sports and we're, getting together just to do that and have a good time. That doesn't happen often because people know I don't really care for sports and I'm just going to make fun of it the whole time. But I actually do enjoy soccer.
So, all right. So tell me, how is soccer not just people running from one side to the other with a very strict set of rules?
Okay. Soccer, you have to have so much more endurance. Like, because there is no pausing.
Because the field is massive.
Yeah, and it's 90 constant minutes. It's not like there's a halftime or anything. Well, there is kind of a small break where they switch sides. But it's not like they are just running the whole time and they're constantly moving the ball. And I do think part of the reason I enjoy soccer, this is going to sound weird, is because I play Rocket League, which is a video game about car soccer. So I can watch soccer.
So you like to pretend you're driving them with a little remote control.
Exactly. But I do feel like I have not a huge grasp, but a small grasp of the strategy it takes to succeed in soccer.
Is it different than like basketball?
Kind of. There's a lot of like, it's a lot of little things. It's very much about crossing and passing it back and passing it forward and keeping the ball out of your opponent's possession. And I
don't know. I don't think I've ever watched a soccer game. I feel like I get enough osmosis of football and basketball, but none of my friends have ever watched soccer, so I don't think I've ever seen it.
Part of the reason I kind of got into it, and again, I don't watch it regularly. I should. Well, there's one team I should watch because I know a guy who's on it, and I told him I would, and now I feel bad. I should text him. It's been a while. But yeah, the World Cup, this is why I got kind of into soccer a little bit. The World Cup was happening when I was in England. And so the place I was at, the program I was with, like, there were a bunch of Americans, some Australians, some Norwegians, obviously some English people. And so that was super fun just to watch all of these people like rooting for their home teams and having a good time with it.
That sounds like that's sports. That's why people like it.
That's what sports should be.
It's the camaraderie.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why people like it. I don't find it interesting, and at this point in my life, I'm like, I don't need another hobby, so I'm not going to get into it. Like,
that's valid.
I don't need one more thing that's going to take up my time because I already waste my time with enough other stuff that ultimately doesn't improve my life.
That I understand. Me too.
Yeah, but I do understand from the perspective of like, because my my ex roommate and then my other roommate that I lived with were like super into sports. So
sure.
Anyway,
I feel like I've said my piece on football and sports in general.
Same. I think you've also said your piece. Same. Well, guess what? I have more sports related topics because within the last couple weeks, sports betting just became legal in my state, North Carolina. And so my friend group has been like obsessing over this this phenomenon. And not really a hot take. I think it should be illegal everywhere because it's not a very good thing. You lose all your money, and I don't know. Maybe I should change my take to it should be legal because never mind. I take it back. I'm switching it up. I think it should have been legal years ago because it's actually kind of fun now to watch sports. So we went on like a bachelor trip a couple weekends ago, and it was the exact same weekend that everything became legal. And like the promotions they were giving out were like insane. It was like deposit $5 and get $250 in free bets. And there were like multiple different apps that were all have like similar promotions. So you could get like $500 plus in just like free bets from just depositing $5. And so I was doing that just because like it's like free money. And I it is though. It's literally free money.
No, it's not, because
here's what
they all do this, where you like, oh, get free $50 in bets, $250 in bets, whatever it is, but you can't withdraw that until you have a certain amount of winnings, which is so far beyond that. So you could withdraw it. It may have just been for like this weekend or whatever, but I was able to withdraw it.
Oh, I didn't withdraw it. It wasn't like they gave it to me and I just withdrew it immediately. I had to bet it on something.
Right.
But once it came back from the bet, and I would like bet on enough stuff that I think I got a little over $300 out of like $500 worth of bets.
Oh, hell yeah.
And so I don't know. It was like money that I wouldn't have had otherwise. But fortunately, I don't know anything about sports, so I have like no drive to actually go back and bet more. But I'm like, if I knew anything about sports, I would probably be losing a lot of money to this,
right?
Because it is very addicting. But
I mean, that's the nature of gambling.
That is the nature of gambling. Yes.
Which
everybody is quits right before they're about to hit big, and so
for sure,
it's really unfortunate to see people just give up like that.
So I really enjoy gambling. I don't gamble. I do. I like poker. Yeah. I like, playing gambling. I'm also relatively good at it. And I did, man. So there was one point where I was at this cabin and all the guys were like, oh, we should play a game of poker, just like a $2 buy-in or whatever. And we play for pot. And they were like, do you want to play? So I decided on a whim just to go, oh yeah, I'll play, but I don't know how to play poker. Can y'all teach me?
Are you saying you play for the pot of money or you play for literal pot?
No, the pot of money.
It could have been, it could have been either way.
Not weed. I would just buy weed like an adult.
Don't gamble for weed, kids.
Don't gamble for weed.
Two bad things don't make a good thing.
Correct. Well, weed's not bad, but that's beside the point. I told them
neither is gambling. That's my hot take.
You what?
Neither is gambling. That's my hot take.
I don't think gambling's bad.
So that's two good things.
I think sports gambling is bad. But I also think a lot of, like, at least in the US, a lot of sports organizations want to promote all this gambling because it increases their views and they make money off of it.
Yeah.
Because I will say, I do not know anyone who is like actually into NBA basketball. And that might be the area I'm from because it's the Midwest. And so everybody does football because it's easier. But I do know a ton of people who watch basketball exclusively because they gamble on it.
Yeah. Well, that's what my friends have been saying is like, oh, if like someone is watching golf and we wouldn't have cared about it, now we can like actually have fun watching it which is like, I don't know, that's a bad thing. Like you're able to enjoy, like if it's just $5, that's the,
but it's never just $5
trap there.
And the nature of, especially the gambling apps, like I've said, they're designed to suck you in and get you to keep gambling.
Yeah, exactly.
Because another experience I've had is when I have talked about it to people, I'll always be like, oh, how much have you won? And there's a guy at work. There are multiple guys at work who are this way, but the specific example I'm thinking of is I was like, how much did you win? And he's like, oh, I've won like $500 through sports gambling. And I was like, oh, that's neat. How much have you lost? And he went $3,000.
Yeah, that's rough.
And so it's like the payout is never as good as you think it is. And it's just because you get the payout and you get the dopamine rush. And this is why loot boxes are a thing in video games, because it's the same idea. It's the whole Skinner box thing.
Yeah, I don't know what a Skinner box is. But...
Oh, this is fun. Okay, I'll explain this and then I'll let you continue. Okay. So there was a study done on rats where they put them in this box, and you had rats that they would have basically a button that they would go to, and they would poke it and they would get fed, right? Like food would drop out. So they did one where it would just drop when food was given. And the rats would, they would go up when they're hungry, push the button, get their food, and leave. And then when they're hungry, go up, push the button, get their food, and leave. And it was, pretty normal. Nothing really changed. But then they made it so when they push the button, I don't know if it was an actual button. This is just the analogy I'm using. I don't know the mechanics of how they did this. But they made it so if they pushed the button, there was a random chance that food would drop. And what they found is that the rats in the normal feeder, they would act normally, like I said, get their food when they're hungry, leave, get hungry again, get their food, and leave. The ones in the random drop would just keep pushing the button. They would not stop pushing the button, because a lot of gambling is
programmed.
Yeah. It's the buildup that gets you.
Yeah.
It's the buildup, then the release of dopamine when you finally win. But it's not winning that gives you that. It's the potential of winning.
Anticipation.
Yes, exactly. And the same thing works with any kind of gambling. That's why it is so addictive. And that's why I don't gamble, because I have an addictive personality and I will lose all of my money. And when I do gamble, I give myself a $50 limit. And once I lose that, I'm done.
It's tough. I definitely... So there's this other app that is really dumb called Kolshi, and it is
cold
it's
cheese.
Just another gamble. Kolshi with a K. It's just another gambling app.
Sure.
But with this one, you can bet on pretty much any sort of pop culture thing, and so I was like this close to doing it for like the Oscars, because I'm really into movies and like have watched all the Oscar nominees and everything. And so I was unfortunately driving that night. And so I was like, the night the Oscars happened. But if I had ended up like, if I was at home in front of a TV, I probably would have bet a ton of money on this Kolshi thing. And I probably would have done good too, I think. But, I'm trying to pull it up to see some of the bets.
That's what everyone thinks. Everyone thinks they're going to do good.
There's also a difference between like just straight up gambling. Like poker, there is a skill involved. To poker. I think to a certain degree, there's like a skill involved with sports bets, to the degree of you have like this extensive knowledge of who's likely to do what team's likely to win this, versus there is just the random like a slot machine where there's literally no way you could possibly know, and there's a 90% chance that it's rigged by the house or whatever. So on this Kolshi app, here I pulled it up, and here's a list of some of the stuff that people are betting on, where you can bet on like literally anything. People are betting on if a hurricane is going to hit Miami this year.
Okay. Category
3 or higher. They're currently betting on what the highest temperature in Austin, Texas is going to be. What the highest is going to be.
Okay.
Like what the stock market S&P close price is going to be today.
Okay.
Or I guess not today because it's the weekend, but yesterday, that's what they were betting on. Chat GPT headlines. Is it Chat GPT 5 going to be revealed in 2024? Is Elon Musk going to stay the Tesla CEO this year? There's a lot of interesting stuff, like Rotten Tomato scores.
That app specifically, I think that's dangerous. Like just the betting on anything. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'll have a bet with my friends where we don't bet money and then just have something. Like whether it's okay, you have to buy the tickets next time we go see a movie or whatever. We'll do that kind of cheeky little bets. But that app, have you heard of the movie Money Plane?
Yeah, I do. I do know the movie. Yeah, it's got a Fraser Crane in it, Kelsey Grammer.
Yep, it does.
Yep.
On a Zoom call.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I
but
know that movie.
it's for those that don't know, it's a movie about you can go on this plane and bet on anything. And it's always like some dude fighting an animal. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
never
supposed to be like illegal
yes.
like fighting
But
stuff.
that is what that Kolshi app makes me think of. Is like I
That'd been
honestly
so
think
funny if scrolling through, like a random one would have been like a guy fighting a kangaroo or something.
yeah.
That would have been hilarious.
Right?
I 100% would start betting on that if that was
Oh, me
if there was a
too.
real life money playing, I would be in on it.
Absolutely. With all that money we have.
Yeah, if assuming I had the money to get on a money plane,
It's probably cheap.
I wouldn't have the money to get off it. Yeah,
But you wouldn't have the money to get off the plane.
I I would like be broke.
They would just keep you on the plane indefinitely.
until you pay back your debts or whatever, until you gamble back your debts. On our list of things we're doing in person, I'm gonna put watch Money Plane.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
We're gonna have a busy day.
We are. But yeah, I just think sports gambling is bad. I think it's a very bad habit. I think gambling can be fun in moderation, but it's very dangerous.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. I mean, it is fun to watch like my friends get like super into it just because they have money on it. But then, yeah, you can definitely see the addiction
for sure
building up too. It's crazy how much money that these sports apps are just like throwing out, and like to get people hooked on it. It's wild.
I also think
that's the business.
I think it removes because there are stakes now, and because you actually have something invested into this, when your team loses, it hurts a lot worse. So I think it has a lot of negative emotions, which the team you're rooting for, if they lose, yeah, that brings negative emotions. But I think the gambling side of it removes the camaraderie that should be present in sports.
Yeah, that's true. That's interesting.
Like, I think any two people who root for opposite teams should absolutely be able to watch the game together and have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen that like to that degree where like people are like freaking out because they've like put so much money on it. But yeah, I'm sure that is the case for many people. A lot of my friends are like, so what I'm going to do is bet on the team that I don't want to win. So then it's a win-win either way. Either my team wins or I get money.
That's funny. That's really funny, actually.
It's a good strategy. It's not actually a good strategy because at the end of the day, you only really want the money, depending on how much you put on it. But,
sure.
So, but I don't know. I do have the app now, and so it's like if I ever got stuck in a situation where I'm just sitting at a bar with them, and I wouldn't have like I would just be bored out of my mind because they're like 100% locked in the game and they're like my ride or whatever. Then it's like okay, well, I might as well put $5, so at least I'll be somewhat motivated to actually log into this.
Right.
But it is dumb.
Right.
I feel like that's the only case
that's fair. But like I said, it's so dangerous, and I've seen so many people get sucked into it and lose just ridiculous amounts of money.
It'll be interesting to see how much my friends end up losing at like the end of the month.
I want to see how Kolshi ends up. Like that is, like I said, slight concern because we already live in a dystopia, and it's just gonna get worse.
Yeah, I'm so curious about it. The thing is, I know I'm gonna get like a big talking to from my accountant about this because my family works with this like really this guy who works like with he's a Christian. He works with he has a very small like home run business, and I know I'm gonna get a talking to from Richard.
Sure.
Like, why am I seeing stuff here from a sports betting app? Okay, this is not good. So, also the fact that you have to pay like the amount you lose from taxes on it too, which is a whole reason like the state allowed it, is like just because they realized how much money they're not getting from taxes on it. And then the fact that you can't deduct the money that you put in. It's like you put in $50, win 50 back, so you get 100, but you're not you're paying taxes on the 50 you want. You're paying taxes on the 100 you take out. So it makes it a lot less appealing when you think of it in that way.
It does.
The government
you don't
has a way of making
anything.
everything feel less fun and appealing. Anytime they get involved, they get involved,
that's so
it's like,
weird.
What am I even doing this for? Why am I here? Why do I care?
It's as if they don't want the public involved in what they do.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
I can't wait for us to have a big when the election comes. No, when the election comes up, our episode, one of us should just do the two candidates, Biden and Trump, and just have it just be a regular debate.
Oh my god,
that would be so funny.
Please no. Everybody, and I don't vote because I don't care, and I think my vote.
I'm
does
honestly
nothing.
in the same. I vote simply on the principle that, like, as an American, I owe it to the country, like, to exercise that right that most countries don't have. But it's not, I don't vote because I have any faith in my vote, or that my vote is, like, going to make a difference. It's just so, I feel like it's just so discouraging seeing how everything is handled, and all, we don't need to, this is getting stupid,
we don't need to go into politics.
I hate,
this is going to make us sad. And this podcast is about jokes and goofs and gaffes.
When the political years come up, and it's like, I'm just ready for it to be over so I don't have to hear anything more about it.
We do have a rule in the bar at work that we don't talk politics with anyone. Like, that's why we do sports on the TVs instead of news. We just, don't do it.
I
don't
tell you
talk
that
politics.
Culture App is going to be going crazy in the 2 months leading up to the election.
Oh, yeah.
Like, who's going to fumble the debate harder tonight?
You should keep me updated on that. I want to know what's being bet on.
You can get it. Just, like, you don't have to put any of, like, your information in there, so you won't be tempted to do it.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Because you can. I don't have, like, my credit card information or, like, my government ID in there, which I need all that in there to actually bet money. But I can still see everything that's going on. It's kind of funny. But yeah, nice. If I was not driving that night of the Oscars, I probably would be in on Colsey right now. Yeah,
probably good you were driving then.
Where will the solar eclipse be obscured by clouds?
Oh, I'm gonna laugh so hard if it's obscured by clouds.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough for the 3 million people that drove up there. Now you have to use that cold open, so you can include this part where we refer back to the cold open that we may not have used.
See, the thing is, if you have a callback in the episode, then I'm forced to use that cold open.
I liked that eclipse open, so we're going to talk about it now. So you have to use it. Will NASA land on the moon before 2026? Okay, well, that's go gamble for pot.
Yeah, nice. Good talk. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed it, download, recommend it, subscribe, all that good stuff. Specifically, downloading helps our analytics. That's super helpful to all the people who have subscribed and who continue to listen. Thank you very much. It is very appreciated.
I've heard nothing from
I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from people about this podcast, and that's been very encouraging.
No one gives me any encouragement. No one says I'm doing a good job. I really am going to quit, I think.
Because you don't tell anyone about it.
Well, tell them to send me that in a letter.